Hey, what's up guys? So for today's video, I wanted to introduce you to one of the decks with the most potential out of Burst Protocol, Magna Warriors. Now, I know what you're thinking. Really bro, Magna Warriors are good? But honestly, this deck is actually really crazy. So the first new card is Linear Magnum. Linear Magnum is level 7, Earth Rock. Must first be special summoned from your hand by sending 2 Magna Warriors whose original level is 4 or lower from your hand, deck, and or face-up field to the graveyard. So it does not activate, so your opponent can't ash this, they can't do anything to like really stop you from sending it unless you're under like Shifter or something like that. And then it has some other effects which aren't really that relevant. As once per turn, you can target one of the Earth monster on the field. This card gains attack equal to half that monster's attack until the end of the turn. Okay. And then if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can add it to your hand. That effect's relevant, but it's not like super important. So this card's crazy. It's going to be the main starter, and it's a starter that's super hard for your opponent to interact with. So no matter what, you normally get like a few bodies out of it at least through most hand traps, which is really cool. The next card is Magnet Warrior Sigma minus, something like that, or I think it's Sigma minus. It's a level 4 Earth Rock. Once per turn, when an attack is declared involving 2 Earth monsters, you can negate the attack. Obviously, a meh effect. You can reveal this card in your hand. Fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using rock monsters from your hand or field, including this card in your hand. So it's like a poly basically, but you cut out one of the materials, which is pretty good. And then if this card is normal or special summon, you can send a level 8 Magnet Warrior from your deck to the graveyard. So the main purpose of this card is going to be to summon your fusion monster, your Plasma Magnum, which we'll go over later. The other effects, this effect is like can come up, but it's not too relevant because the fusion can also send it to the graveyard, the level 8 Magna Warrior. And the first effect is not super duper relevant, but it can come up because your fusion makes all monsters on the field Earth, so you can like stop your opponent's attacks, which is okay-ish. But yeah, the card's not bad. Here, there's one copy of it. Depending on the various version you play, you could play multiple because this is like it's not a one-card starter, but I'd still consider it a starter. The next card is going to be Magnet Warrior something plus. So it's a level 4 Earth Rock. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can destroy one rock monster in your hand or face up on the field. And if you do special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. When the Earth monster on the field activates the effect, you can tribute this card, target one face up monster on the field, change it to face down defense position. So this card is really cool. You can just summon it from your hand or graveyard by popping a rock. So something you can do normally is you can use it to pop the Linear Magnum, and if you remember, Linear Magnum says if this card is destroyed, add it to your hand, so you get to you get a +1 basically, which is pretty cool, and like pseudo follow-up, which is nice. And then, like I said, your fusion makes all monsters from the field Earth, so you can use that effect in tandem to like book one of their guys. The next card is Magnet Warrior Sigma Plus, Delta Plus, something like that. So while you control an Earth monster, your opponent monsters that can attack must attack Earth monsters. Relevant if you have like IP or something like that, you don't have the fusion on the field. While your opponent controls an Earth monster, you choose the attacks for your opponent's attacks. This card is sent to the graveyard. You can target a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior in your graveyard, add it to your hand, or special summon it. So this is going to be the main effect of this card. You're going to send this off the Linear Magnum, send this in something else, and then you're going to use this to revive the other card you sent, and you're going to send either the Beta or the Epsilon normally. And then the last new card, main deck card, is going to be Magnet Bonding. It's a quick play spell. So during the main phase, activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect of Magnet Bonding once per turn. And this card is like Yummy Surprise, in that it has multiple effects. You can use the card multiple times a turn, but only each effect once per turn. The first effect lets you add the Linear Magnum or level 4 or lower Magna Warrior from your deck to your hand. The second effect lets you add a level 8 Magna Warrior from deck to hand. And the third effect lets you fusion summon by shuffling from hand, field, graveyard, and or banishment. So a bunch of really good effects on this card. It's a quick play spell as well, so you can use it in the draw phase. The last new card is Conduction Knight Plasma Magnum. It is a level 7 Earth Rock. All face-up monsters on the field become Earth. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is Fusion Summon, you can add one Magnet, normal, quick play, or field spell from your deck to your hand. You're really going to be adding Magnet Bonding. If you're playing the pure deck, you can play Magnet Induction, which is honestly not a terrible card. It's like E-Telly. But most of the time, you're only going to be adding a Magnet Bonding, which is fine because the card is not once per turn. And then you can send a level 8 Magna Warrior from your deck to the graveyard. Immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon a level 4 lower Magna Warrior. Oh, also, I forgot to add one card to the deck list, which is a new card. The last new card is Telerusion the Magna Warrior, which is kind of like what all these cards like centered around. So it's it says must be special summoned by banishing one magnet. Like basically, you banish this, and this. So like these two, you banish them from your hand face up in the field or graveyard to summon itself while this card is in the graveyard. Then once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it, or if you target an earth monster in activation, you can take control of it instead. During your opponent's turn, you can tribute this card, special summon 2 of your banished magnet, like these guys. So basically, you can summon this from the graveyard by banishing this. It's disruption on the opponent's turn, and then you get to summon 2 bodies out on the opponent's turn, and then the disruption effect can be used during either player's turn. And then when this guy leaves the field after you summon it, you get to add back or summon it, do it from your graveyard, so it has like utility there. So those are what the new Magna Warrior cards do. There are 2 older cards that do see play. So the first one is Beta, which is going to be one of your 1-card combos. If this card is normal, special summon, add a level 4 lower Magna Warrior from deck to hand. So you normal summon this, you add this fusion summons this, grabs a spell grabs Linear Magnum, and then you can play Yu-Gi-Oh! The other card is Epsilon, which says on summon, Foolish Burial, level 4 lower Magnet Warrior, and then special summon a magnet from your graveyard with a different name. It's a way to get multiple level 4 bodies on the field, etc., etc. So you might be asking, what are the benefits to playing Magnet Warriors? Well, the deck can spam a lot of bodies super duper easily. A lot of bodies. And Linear Magnum is a custom card. There are a few different ways you can play the deck. You can play the deck with a pure version, or you can play it with Fiendsmith. Fiendsmith has a couple of benefits to the deck. So the first thing is your Magnet Warrior end board, they don't have that much disruption in archetype, you know? So Fiendsmith does add like disruption to your deck, and you can get into Fiendsmith either by doing Exciton because you have played so many level 4s, or you can make the Light Fiend, the Brass Djinn, because some of the other Magnet Warriors are level 3. I wouldn't really play Brass Djinn. I think Exciton is the more consistent bridge. So you can go into Fiendsmith. Fiendsmith is going to give you a bigger end board, and also Fiendsmith can technically bridge into Magnet Warriors, because if you remember earlier this year, the Fiendsmith Mitsurugi deck, some people were bridging from Mitsurugi to Fiendsmith, or from Fiendsmith to Mitsurugi by going Trozo into a rank 4, right? Well, you can still do that here. You can go Trozo, like Lina, Trozo into Gallant Granite. Gallant Granite can search Linear Magnum, and you can full combo from there. So Fiendsmith does bridge into Magnet Warriors, and Magnet Warriors does bridge into Fiendsmith. Another way you can play the deck is you can play the deck with the Fallen of the White Dragon package. This card doesn't have an insane amount of synergy with the deck, but it's kind of one of those cards that is just so good in a vacuum that you could argue it's worth it. It doesn't really it can bridge into Magnet Warriors, but you can't special it from hand. You have to normal summon it for it to bridge into Magnet Warriors, because if you special summon it, you're going to be locked. Alternatively, how would I word this? You can also bridge from Magnet Warriors into this. So this is level 7, right? And this is level 7. So you can go 2 level 7s into Arsenal Falcon. Arsenal Falcon can then summon the Mercurier from your deck. Then you go into SP Little Knight. You go into SP Little Knight with the Arsenal Falcon and the Mercurier. SP Banish Mercurier. Mercurier effect, add Fallen of White Dragon. It's cute. You can't really do that for certain hand trap combinations though, so the bridge isn't really amazing, but it's not bad. And then the Mercurier honestly is not that bad to draw, because you can play it a lot often without your normal summon, so you can normal summon this, make Omraj, SP, bam. You can still do it. A third way to play the deck is Ryzel. You might be like, oh, Ryzel seems awkward because Beta is level 3. Beta is level 3, that is true. However, I still think the Ryzel version works because you do play a lot of other level 4s. And I think Ryzel really helps you with some of the issues that your deck has. Because I think the main issue with Magnet Warriors, like I said, you're lacking disruption, but also your end board isn't really layered. It's all on the field, right? And I feel like the Fiendsmith version doesn't really help with that too much. Whereas the Ryzel version, it helps your end board be layered because of Cross, because of Detonator with like Eclipse Twin, so you have like Nib or whatever, and you can make a bunch of rank 4s like Dugaris or Degusto Emerald, so you can draw like 5 cards sometimes, and if you're playing like 20 non-engine, you have a lot of good cards you can draw into. So now I'll go over other tech cards you can play in the deck. So like I mentioned, well, I didn't mention it, but you can play Adamantipator Researcher, and you can play a lot of rock monsters, so you can actually use Researcher's field effect. But you can also use it as a tuner to go into Naturia Beast, which is pretty cool, with Researcher plus the beta. Dualterion is a level 5 dinosaur. So this card says you can discard this card, add a bonding spell and trap from deck to hand. The field effect is irrelevant, but the effect of search of bonding spell and trap is important because Magnet Bonding is searchable by Dualterion, so it's another copy of that. And technically you have more copies of Dualterion, because you can play Fossil Dig, which can add it, or you can play Infernal Punisher, which can technically add it. Now, I don't think you need that many copies of Magnet Bonding. Like, there are going to be a ton of diminishing returns, so I would not play, like, these cards personally. At least the Fossil Dig and the Infernal Punisher. But, you know, you can play them. Technically, you can also play the OG Valkyrion, the Magna Warrior, and then you can play Berserkion. Because this fusion, basically, what this fusion is basically a negate. It's just basically an Omni Negate, but it requires these two guys. So, like, one issue with the deck is that you really only have one good rock fusion to make. So this guy lets you shuffle summon a rock fusion. I'm not going to cap. I went through all the rock fusions. They're all garbage. They're all dog shit. I'm going to be real. This is like the only good one. This effect is good, but for you to make this, you have to play 2 bricks in your deck. And you can consistently get to it, but like, bro, I don't want to play 2 bricks in my deck just to summon this guy. Like, this doesn't seem worth it. If I'm doing that, it better be like 3 negates or something like that. Like, not 2 negates. So I don't think it's worth to play these cards. But yeah. Anywho, other stuff I want to mention is that Dominus Purge, the deck can play Dominus Purge because all your stuff is earth. Keep in mind, if you do play Duotarion, that's a water, so there's some confliction there. And then, like, Nibiru is an important card. Nibiru is important in this deck because you can make Allen Granite. Also, this guy can pop Imi Rock Monster, so technically you can pop the Nib in some scenarios, which is especially relevant, like if you're playing like a Razio version or something like that, you can pop like a nib to get an extra level 4 body, which could be important. And like if you get nibbed, post nib, you can pop an extra nib in your hand, or you can pop the nib token because the nib token's also rock. So sometimes you get nibbed, and then you go, this guy popped the token, you have 1 level 4 body there, you know. So it is cool there. But yeah, honestly, I think this deck is really, really solid. All the variants are really, really cool. I think it's definitely worth looking into, and don't just think that, oh, it's a Magnet Warrior, so the deck is terrible. Please give the deck a try. I'll be uploading Magnet Warrior replays and a deck profile, deck profiles. So yeah, stay on the lookout for that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is just an introduction to the Magnet Warrior deck, tell you guys what it's about, etc., etc. And yeah, stay tuned for next video. Peace.